5 solar lead generation traps to avoid at all costs. Hey guys, welcome back to another solar video on the channel. My name is Ivan. Today we're breaking down 5 traps to avoid in solar lead generation. Ideally, I want all this information to be ingrained into your mind so you don't make these mistakes. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The first solar lead gen trap you should avoid at all costs is narrow targeting. Yes, you heard that right. If you have the possibility to sell in the entire state or multiple states, do not limit yourself to a certain zip codes. Do not do that because your lead cost is going to go through the roof. And if you want to have a successful solar marketing campaign, if you want to have something that produces time and time again, you're gonna want to let Facebook or the Meta or Instagram or YouTube, whatever the platform might be, decide where to bring you those leads from. And you want to have a larger area that you could possibly target. Ideally, if you want to go into a particular state, trust me, just target a whole state. Do not target a small area because I'm telling you, your CPL is going to go through the roof. The numbers on the campaign won't make sense at the end, most probably. Of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but most likely the CPL, that's the cost per lead, is going to be much more expensive than it should be. And so that will raise everything else down the line. The cost per appointment, cost per acquisition, in other words, what it costs you to acquire a sale. It doesn't matter if you're doing this for yourself or you're running ads for a solar company. It does not matter. It's not going to make sense at the very end. So I'm telling you, if you can avoid this, and more people started to transition to selling from a distance, selling from Zoom, over the phone, whatever. If they can do that, or if you can do that, don't limit yourself to a narrow target audience because your campaign performance is going to suffer. And I don't want you to be overpaying for leads. All right, so the second lead generation trap that you should avoid at all costs has to do with targeting an affluent zip code area. For example, I want to target Los Angeles. I want to target a mansion area. I want to target where the richest people live. Why? Because instead of getting a 6 kilowatt deal, I can get a 26 kilowatt deal. And they start to run the math in their mind. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, here's the thing. It all sounds good on paper. In reality, it doesn't work. Why? Because that's not your target audience. Your target audience is not rich people. It's not affluent people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or millions of dollars a year because they couldn't care less if their bill is $800 or $400. They don't give a shit most of the time. And even if they do, again, those will be exceptions to the rule. So that's not your target audience. You should target people that care about saving $50, $100, $200, $300, right? You should target these type of people. And you should not limit yourself to just a specific target audience. I've seen it time and time again where my clients, I don't even launch campaigns like that anymore, but we used to accommodate for what the client would prefer. Like, what would you want to target? I want to target this zip code and this zip code and this zip code. And I'm like, why? Because the median household income is over $250,000. And in my mind back then, I was like, whoa, that makes so much sense. And then when you start to run the campaign, you very quickly come to find out that that couldn't be further from the truth. You're like, dude, these people don't care about solar. I mean, are you kidding me? So again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying no rich folk cannot go solar. I am saying that those people are usually exceptions to the rule because most people go solar because of the value aspect of it, and most of it has to do with saving money. And people like that don't really care about saving a couple $100s a month on their electric bill. All right, that's that. Third trap that I freaking love, which is not just in solar lead gen, but it applies a lot to solar lead gen, and that is that people don't understand that there is a process involved. You just go to a bar and talk to a girl and try to convert into becoming your wife. No, there's a process involved. You got to meet her, you got to take out on a few dates, whatever. You have to get to know her and stuff like that. Exactly. You don't propose on the first day because that would be weird. And I know you're probably saying to yourself, yeah, that of course I wouldn't do that. But these people do exactly that when they run ads online. Right? And that's why I'm saying this to you. Listen, don't try to get married on the first day. First, get to know them. Realize it's a process, okay? The ad is there to get them to click. Then the next page, which could be a form, a landing page, is there to tell them the reason why they should give you their details, which is a form, right? With a bunch of questions. And then once they've given you the personal details, then you have an appointment stage. And then once you've set the appointment, then you have a chance of actually selling them a deal, right? So there's a process involved. You can't do this on the first go, and actually it repels people. It does quite the opposite. They're like, what the hell is that? Like, it's just weird. Exactly as if you were to approach somebody and ask them to marry you on the first date. Number 4, a lot of people seem to think that for some reason, if you ask people a gazillion questions in the forum or in the questionnaire or in the quiz, it'll automatically just increase their buyer intent like that. Like, it will go from here to here. It doesn't work like that, because we've run campaigns in the past that we promise people stuff outside of the solar deal, like a solar battery for free, a solar generator for free, a pergola for free, a new roof for free, all these little things. And then on the back end, we would ask people a bunch of questions. Guess what? They would answer them because they want the free stuff. Okay, they want to get it. And then when we got to speak to the lead, turns out they're not interested in solar. All they wanted to do is get the free stuff and bounce. And so the buyer intent is not created through the quiz. The buyer intent is created through the ad itself, what it says in the ad. Ideally, you do not want to ask people a bunch of questions. If the buyer intent's created and is there from the ad itself, which is what originates everything, then the questionnaire should be literally like their personal details, name, email, phone number, and then their address, whatever. And then you have, are you paying more than $100? And then maybe their credit score. And then that's it. I don't need to know about anything else. Why? Because our appointment setters on the back end could get on a call with these people and find out all the rest of the information that we would possibly need. So you don't need to ask people a bunch of questions. It's not going to increase their buyer intent. If anything, it's probably going to repel more and more people because they're busy. They don't want to tell you all this stuff about themselves. And that's the end of that. So quit doing that. You're just spending more money than you should have. All right, and number 5, this is not a trap. This is a hell no. Can you guess what that is? Sending people to a website. So imagine if you have a bunch of traffic, and instead of sending it to a landing page or somewhere where it's just there's nothing to do except clicking a single button and then carrying on with the rest of the steps, which is usually filling out a quiz or a form of some sort. But in this way, I've seen people, they literally attach their lead generation landing page. They would have that embedded in their website. Imagine a navigation bar. So you go to the page, there's a navigation bar at the top, and you see a landing page, but then also you see the navigation bar, maybe a hamburger menu if you're mobile. And then all of a sudden you realize that they start clicking through shit. And that's exactly what happens. When you give people options, what happens? They get distracted. And so next thing you know, they're looking at something completely irrelevant than what the ad originally talks about. And so do not send people to a website. Doesn't matter how credible, doesn't matter how good your website is, it's burning money. Do not do that. I'm telling you firsthand, gonna burn your money. Don't do that. Keep your website for branding purposes. Keep your website for credibility, if people want to know about it, whatever, but send it to people manually and individually only if they request it. Do not send people to a website, even if you have an embedded landing page within the website, but they can still get distracted because there's a navigation bar or whatever. That's the end of that. Those were the 5 traps to avoid in solar lead generation. Now, if you care to know more about how to generate solar leads online, check out the first link in the description below, because we have the most incredible, the most notorious, the most amazing course that there ever is on solar leads alone. How to do everything about building a campaign, everything about tracking the results, everything about just scaling a campaign. Everything you need to know about solar lead generation will be there. Right now, we have a pre-launch price and a bunch of bonuses that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So check out, be the first link in the description below. That'll be the shameless plug for this video. I love you. I care for you. So I only want the best. And so take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.